Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So today we're going to go over two things, because you guys know I like to combine my videos, right? So today we're going to be talking about ways you can naturally feed your small livestock, rabbits, quails, chickens, out of your garden, and how you can maintain, create, and use black soldier fly larvae to feed your chickens and your quails all the protein that they're going to need. Okay guys, so we're gonna start with bell pepper. Slice it, take the stem and top off, take out all the seeds when you're feeding these to rabbits, okay? So what I found out with bell pepper, right, is that it's a good roughage. Very similar to what hay can do for them. Super, super good for their bellies, all right? Gives them a lot of dense material, and they love it. They absolutely love it. This is one of our New Zealand grow outs. She'll be breeding for me in about 2 months. So making sure that she gets an adequate diet of highly nutrient dense food is very important at the Starkey Farmstead, because the healthier that she is, the more kits that she will be able to deliver safely for her and for them, the more likely she's going to feed and care for them. And the third thing is, the healthier the kits are going to be, because their mother's milk has the right nutrient density in it to grow them large, quick, and strong. Now, do I still pellet feed? Yes. But I have a video out on that, and you would be shocked, guys, how much you're actually supposed to feed your rabbits pellets, okay? That is not all the nutrients that they need, and overfeeding them will cause them to become obese, and they will stop breeding, and they will begin to have health problems. You don't want lazy rabbits. Rabbits aren't considered a lazy animal, and there's a reason for that. Second thing that you can feed your rabbits out of your garden: sliced squash. Now this squash was really hard. You ever had like a squash come out and it's all nice and bumpy, but it's really more like a winter squash exterior than it is a summer squash? But yes, this is yellow summer squash. So I cut it. Did I take the seeds out on purpose? No, because like pumpkin seeds, squash seeds are safe for your rabbits, and there's some nutrients that they can get from those. But I went ahead and then sliced these. The seeds just kind of fell out because it was an overripe squash. So I'm not going to eat it, and I'm not really going to sell it. But what I can do for it is feed my rabbits. Now, she did not get any pellets today. All right, she will get a small cup tonight, like a small cup. Watch the video on Are You Feeding Your Rabbits Too Much? It's really good information. What she does have, you can see in there, is hay. She's eaten most of it. So this is like an afternoon snack for her. All right. Also, rabbits don't drink a lot of water. So if you're worried about your rabbits dehydrating in the summer, and you've got your vegetables in a cooler or in your house, the best things that you can feed them would be tomato and cucumber. They hold a lot of moisture, guys. So tomatoes, I just cut off the stem, make sure there are no leaves. The rest of the tomato seeds and all go to my ladies. Watch this when she realizes she's got a tomato in there. They'll give up everything else for the tomato. All right, like they love it. Let me see what else I've got in here. Oh, cucumber. Again, like pumpkin and squash, zucchini, all of those things can be fed to your rabbits. Leave the seeds in here, all right? It's not gonna hurt them. And I just shoved that right through the cage, and there you go. She has a slice of tomato, she had a slice of bell pepper, she had a slice of cucumber, and a slice of squash. That's it. Don't overburden them. Their stomachs are literally like this big. You can make them sick. If you watched any of my other videos, you will hear me say repeatedly, I killed like 38 rabbits last summer at this time, moving them from one diet to another without taking my time, without introducing foods properly. Do your research. So I'm feed out the rest of these rabbits, and then we're gonna go to how to create, care for, and grow your own black soldier larvae flies for your chickens and your quails. Once your kits get old enough that they start eating hay and pelleted feed along with their mother, you don't have to worry about them getting into the vegetables, guys. It's not gonna hurt them. She's been eating these while she was pregnant, while she was breastfeeding, so the babies are not gonna have allergies to these foods. they get diarrhea, it may be because you're giving them too much of one food or all of them. It's the only time today they're gonna get vegetables like this. Okay, well actually these are fruits, but let's not go there right now. These guys were removed off their mom about a week and a half ago. And you can see they have no trouble, right? And remember what I told you, she's gonna be really excited when she realizes she has tomato. They love it. Just like people, they need something more than canned food. I mean, guys, I'm being serious. You're not gonna get the nutrients that you need from processed and canned foods. You need nutrient-dense vegetables. It's the same thing with your livestock. If you want your meat to be healthier, right? So that you get what you need from the meats that you eat, then your animals need to eat healthier food. The healthier you feed them, the healthier their meat is, the more nutritious that it will be for you, your family, and the people that purchase the meat from you. This is very important. I love watching them eat tomatoes. Look at its little mouth. Look at that. But do you see what I'm saying about making sure they get enough fluid in this heat? I mean, that was equivalent to like several sips of water, which they don't like to drink a lot of water, which is why their urine is an amazing nitrogen fertilizer and pest deterrent for your gardens, guys. If you guys have seen any of our videos, you know that we have what we call a rack-in pen. Rabbits on top, chickens right below. This is why you deep mulch in there. They're able to take their baths, because they do take dirt baths. As you can see, as things fall from the from the rabbit cages directly into the chicken cages, they clean it up. Let's talk about black soldier larvae fly. All right, they are a fly species, but they do not bite. They're really not going to bother you. There are a couple of things that they need. They really need to grow, okay? They're gonna need a food supply. They're going to need a bedding. They're going to need moisture, and they're gonna need to be out of direct sunlight if at all possible. Very similar to raising red wiggler worms. So let me show you in my rabbitry how I came about finding black soldier larvae fly. Directly under the pens, now I have moved a lot of these out of here. As I told you guys, that's how the smaller dogs got to my rabbit cages. We're knocking these over and standing on them. I didn't do this one because the moms can get on the boxes, the babies are still there, and this is full of black soldier larvae fly. So do you see that? This is what I consider bedding. Hay, all right? It's nice and damp. It's in the shade, that's why it's kind of dark in here. But as I start to dig it up, you see that? Of course you do. Look at those. When the watering system leaks a little bit, or the rabbits urinate, or when they poop, it goes into this bucket, okay? So it's a nice environment for the black soldier larvae fly. Have you noticed there was a lot when I turned it, and now you don't see a whole lot? You wanna know why? They don't like the light any more than a red wiggler. See that? Now, here's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Can I still use this manure in my garden? Are they gonna be a problem? Can they hurt my garden? Will they eat my plants? Will they cause disease? And the answer across the board for that would be yes, you can use the manure in your garden. In fact, it's the same process that you see in my worm bins when my red wigglers break down the manure into worm castings. There's actually a word for this. I'll have to look it up and put it in this video of what their poop is called, but it's actually taking the manure to a new level. It's adding value to that manure because they are processing it ahead of time. So they're doing you a favor. Can they hurt your plants, cause disease? No, they cannot. The next question I know people are gonna have is, how do I get this to my rabbits? Well, really simple. Take the top off, which I call the bedding, which they're gonna eat that too, guys. That's why they're up in there. I just kind of move that off, all right? Get that out of there. I expose the worms where they really are, which is, see them? And I come out here with a bucket and I just take these handfuls out. The chickens and the quail, now the quail, I pick these out individually and put them in their feeder. But for the chickens, I just dump big piles of this. They dig through it and pull out the larvae. They don't eat the rabbit manure. It doesn't make them sick. It doesn't hurt them. But you see how they're up in the top of this? That's bedding. Like they need to be able to get up and out of their own manure and what they're eating. So this is one system directly below the rabbit cages, full of black soldier larvae fly. Let me take you across the yard and show you how I do the same system underneath the quail cage. All right, here's a set of quail cages. Go beneath it. What you see here is a bunch of mulch. You can see where the quail are pooping. I come out here, I layer this. This is a little thin right now because the black soldier flies that I just kind of exposed have eaten that and turned that into a soil amendment, guys. Very similar to what your red wigglers will do, okay? Now, I need to add rabbit manure and more bedding, which would be leaves and straw and hay into this. Now, as the food, because quail are super messy, okay? So as they eat and the food drops back down here, this is a great way to recycle wasted feed. I had the same exact quail set up in my chicken coop, and every little bit of extra food that the quails drop, the chickens eat, reducing my chicken feed, okay? So that's what I'm saying, sustainable loop systems. Now watch this. I harvested from here this morning. I'm gonna show you the size bucket that I use that I pretty much fill up. I just come out here and all of this, guys, is how I do it. I scoop it into the bucket, scoop it into the bucket, and I just keep doing that, right? I just keep scooping. When I'm ready to feed my male quails, watch this. I just grab a couple, I pinch them like this. All right, I go up here, open up the quail cage. I keep a little dish right here, put them right in there. The quail will do it. They know, y'all, instinctively, they know how to eat bugs. Don't even worry about that. So that is a sustainable loop, deep mulch system under a quail cage. Not only is it providing food for the quail and the chickens, these black soldier larvae are actually turning all of this wasted material, manure, urine, hay, all of this stuff back into a usable soil amendment, guys. You have to let everything else work for you. Work smarter, not harder. Because homesteading and running a farm will slap wear you out if all of your systems are separate and independent of each other. The healthier your farm and your property becomes, the healthier your animals become. And the way to do that is to use the natural resources and the outputs that your inputs create to then create more inputs that then they create more outputs. And it is called a sustainable loop system. All right, so what I'm going to show you now is how I'm going to relayer this area to encourage more flies to come lay larvae here, or to lay eggs, so I have more larvae. Notes: our beautiful, amazing cooler for our vegetables is a 110, thank you God. And even though a tree hit it during Ida up there at the top left-hand corner, they were worried the compressor wouldn't work. Guess what, guys? It works beautifully. It's cooling down right now. They get in there and give it a good clean out. If you've used a cooler like this for vegetables off of your farm, homestead, hobby farm, or market garden, drop me some comments on how I can take care of this, how I can set the temperature and stuff like that, because this is brand new to us. All right, guys, the cages behind me they hold out my grow outs for me. These are babies that have either been orphaned. We have a set right here. If you've ever watched What Am I Dealing With Today? Segment 1, I talk about how their mom caught a respiratory infection that I probably should have noticed, but I missed it because, you know, hindsight's 20/20. And these were the babies that at 2.5 weeks old became motherless, and they're doing amazing, amazing. So this just has my grow outs, like my replacement breeding stock and things like that I don't have room for up in the racking pen in the front, and did not have room for in the rabbitry, thank God, because all my other small ones were killed in the brutal attack from the stray dogs. Please stop dropping off your animals in the country, and if you can't afford to feed them, find them a new home. Please remember, comment with a quail, a chicken, or a rabbit. Like and subscribe, guys. We have a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers by September 1st, 2022. We know that we can do that with you faithful watchers rowing in our boat. Guys, so what most of you probably already know is that rabbits do a lot of pooping and peeing, okay? So you can already see it down here. All the stuff that they waste. Look at this, like they're babies. They waste a lot. So otherwise, this would just be a negative for me, right? Like I would have all this wasted material, but you can see even in here, like the black soldier larvae are already finding a way, but they're only gonna be where it's damp. They're not gonna be over here in this dry manure. They can't live in that. So the environment has to be right to get this kind of ecosystem going. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a really big bucket. I'm gonna take all of this hay, all of this poop, all the vegetables that they didn't eat. I'm gonna put it in that, and I'm gonna take it back outside on the outside of my shop, and I'm going to layer my quail cages underneath in a deep mulch system. All right, so I have my bucket full of hay, rabbit poop, food they didn't eat, vegetables they didn't eat, because they play, guys. Baby rabbits are so much fun, so they waste all their feed and you lose all that money. Okay, so you're just gonna wet it. And who cares? This isn't going into a red wiggler bin, so I'm not really worried about drowning my worms. It's going on the ground. So if I put too much water, guess what the ground's gonna do? Absorb the water, okay? It's not in a controlled environment where I need to be concerned about overwatering. All right, so now I'm gonna take this outside and put it underneath my quilt. All right, like I said, you put too much water, it's gonna run off, not a problem. But now this is all good and damp, guys. If it is not damp, just like I say, it's not moist, when you hear me talking about my red wiggler bins, you're not gonna get any black soldier larvae that can survive that. They need to be kept moist in the shade with bedding that is also going to be food, the rabbit manure, the wasted feed. All of this is going to create a food for my chickens and my quail, a protein source that you cannot beat, guys. You can't beat. It doesn't take but maybe, I would say my red wigglers and layering out the different systems I have for the black soldier larvae across the property, because I don't believe in putting all my eggs in one basket. If I get any kind of critter in here that eats all of these, I've got to set up like this in the front pen where the German Shepherd sleeps. I've got another setup in the rabbitry. So I have backup protein sources across my entire 2 acres. I did not put it all in one spot. So if something hits it or something happens that I lose all my protein, and then I have to go back to bag feed, because that's the only place I can get my black soldier larvae. You need to think out how you can secure food for your animals, all right? When you think that process out, you need to have it in more than one place on your property, creating sustainable loop systems with zero waste across my entire 2 acres. When I feed my quail and my chickens, and I have total right around 40 quail and chicken, maybe closer to 50. But I'm fixing to have a whole bunch more than that. I've got eggs incubating in the house for the quails. I've got a broody hen sitting on 18. I fill this up to about right here. Let me tell you what this is. Cat litter box. My daughter bought it. The cat was never allowed inside the house, so it's actually never used. So why would I throw away a litter box that's basically Rubbermaid when I can turn it into a feed bucket for black soldier larvae to be spread around my property? Very easy to carry. You can put it against your hip. Holds it really well. I love it. So you guys can tell, even my grow outs, they love it. This is the best feed they get all day. Say hi, tell them hello. So I have very healthy animals. I get that question a lot when people come into our property. How do you have this many animals and sections all over your farm, but when you pull up and get out, you can't smell them? It's because I use their waste products to create healthier systems. I use their waste products in a way that they are not going to poison the water systems around me. They're not going to pile up and become this big, huge mound of manure. I'm always finding a way to turn it into compost, into soil amendments, into fertilizers. It's important that you be able to work with what you have in your hand. Say that all the time. Like, I'm small acreage, so I'm small livestock. Like, why in the world would I have a cow on 2 acres when a quarter acre is a market garden and at least another quarter acres dedicated to quails and chickens and rabbits in 3 different areas all the way across? I have a shop, I have a home, I have driveways, I have covered areas like this for when we have tours. I mean, where am I going to put a cow? Way out there in the direct sun? You guys are watching my videos, you know how I feel about that. Do you want to go stand out there? Look at me sweating. You want to go stand out in that direct sun all day with a little 20-gallon black or silver water container that's probably 95 degrees and be corn fed all day? That's not living. That's not even animal husbandry. I mean, I'm not saying that if all of a sudden the food was severely short and it came down to life or death, I wouldn't put an animal through that. You better bet, because human life is more important. But do I think you should be doing that now? No, I don't. Small livestock, small acreage, guys. Right there, God, he's an orderly God. And there's a process and a step to everything. If your property stinks, you're having a lot of disease, you're getting a lot of parasites, a lot of illnesses, something's not right. Your systems are out of whack, okay? So I'm not judging you. I'm trying to educate you like somebody educated me, my father, when that began to happen to me. He's like, you're not doing it right. That's kind of hard to swallow. I love my animals. I love my farm. I love what I do. What do you mean I'm not doing it right? I spend hours on the internet, hours in books. How am I not doing it right? He was correct. I was not doing it right. So here at Starkey Farmstead, we are an alpha omega regenerative farm model. For every input, we create multiple outputs that are then used to create income as well as more inputs. Constant, guys, constant. Zero waste, zero chemical use. Our animals are healthy. Our property is thriving. It's multiplying. We stand on God's word here. We invite you to come and tour. More than anything, I ask that you comment a quail, a chicken, or a rabbit today. Just leave it in the comments. Just put your little emblem. What is it that you raise? Guys, you can use this system across any size farm, across any size homestead. Make it work for you, okay? Now it's Sunday. Just got out of church this morning. I spent an hour and a half just checking my animals, feeding them a little extra, checking water, making sure everybody's nice and cool, put my plants back under the shade because I'm hardening them up and they'd had enough sun for the day. Made sure that my systems for my black soldier larvae are set up and thriving. And now I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna take a cool bath. I'm gonna lay in bed beside my husband. I'm gonna laugh a little while, probably take me a good nap, and I'm gonna go back to church tonight. So you should be able to do everything that you need and want to do. You should still have a life if you're homesteading or farmsteading. You shouldn't be able to never leave your property, guys. And when you leave, it should still thrive for you. It should still produce for you. Always be going forward in the processes. Always be learning. We hope that you like, you comment, and you subscribe. God bless you, and thank you for watching.